So for the last couple of days, I've been checking out this video. I've been checking out this concept about a lot of the things that's going on tenfold in our society as we are in the last days. Now, I know that sounds controversial because some people will make a mockery off of my videos to say, oh, you're just saying it's the last days, or you don't know what you're talking about. Or, somebody commented one of my last videos talking about my thought process towards stop having kids video and stuff like that. But everybody's welcome into my comment section to say whatever you want to say, good, bad, or indifferent. But I made this video and it was inspired by a fellow content creator by the name of T. Godly, in which they were talking about this concept, which is not new. It's just that they put it out to the forefront when they're ready. Okay, and I'm talking about the people at large, the government or the elite at large says that when it's their time to want to put out something in the open, they will. So, it's this new concept of Ectolife, which is the world's first artificial womb facility, in which it's basically mocking the process that a woman goes through when she is pregnant, in which it's the same type of thing of being in the womb. The baby's fed this, or the baby is warmed up with that, but it's in a lab and it doesn't require a woman's fetus in order to be able to produce a child. Now, my thing about this is, and most people would know, I'm not surprised by something like this. I'm really not. I think it's just one of those sort of things that now they're trying to go first with the vulnerable populations of women who are hoping to have a child, but has some complications from, let's say, uterine cancer, or have some problems where their womb is not able to conceive a child. They can't get pregnant, but they really want to have a child. So, of course, when you're dealing with a lot of these technologies out there, they want to always appeal to those that's the most in need. That's the way that they do it first, so that then those who follow up afterwards say, hey, well, I have this problem too. Oh, I have this problem. And then it'll be those that's just like, well, I don't really need a man to have a child and stuff like that. I'd rather have a child by myself. And the concept of this reminds me of test tube babies. Test tube babies has been along for a long time. My belief system has been that they started conjuring this up in a military lab, or, something under the government's control. And then after that, they decided to go to the medical route and go to your local hospitals and test it out and see what it was going to be like for, someone being conceived artificially with the test tube baby type of thing, right? So that was one thing, the test tube babies. Test tube animals, because I remember that they actually, besides cloning animals, that they had bore artificial lamb. They basically created or conceived an artificial lamb. I forgot what year that was, but I believe that was like the 1990s. I think 1996. But my whole point of saying this is, the whole point moving towards or being in this NWO is that the most unnatural things that escape away from the Most High is going to be put to the forefront now. Okay. You already have the problem that, from my last video, there's a movement saying stop having kids, like saying having kids is a burden. Again, I told people, I don't mind people. You shouldn't say that having kids is immoral, because it's not immoral to have kids. My thing is, at the end of the day, you just have to recognize what you're going to be getting into when you're creating a family in this generation. Okay. So moving on from that, I just wanted to give my points and my perspective about this concept of the Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility. And we'll take it up from there and see how it goes. So, Pete.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy. Ectolife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring. It's a perfect solution for women who had their uterus surgically removed due to cancer or other complications.
And it's like I told you before, the most vulnerable populations is going to be the first that's going to take upon this offer. That's why I said things like uterine cancer and all these different things is always going to be a deciding factor on, like, you know, the mother or the woman who wants to conceive a child to go ahead with something like this.
With Ectolife, premature births and C-sections will be a thing of the past. Ectolife is designed to help countries that are suffering from severe population decline, including Japan, Bulgaria, South Korea, and many others.
And shout outs to the content creator Tita Godley. He made a very good point on this, and this is something I agree on. A lot of the, you know, the most vulnerable populations that would take upon this, and because there is a decrease of the Eurasian populations, the Eurasians, of course, is going to be the ones that's going to go for something like this. Now, of course, you know, to the so-called Black population and Negroids of the earth, usually they don't have to deal with this problem. Like, there's usually not a big population of so-called Black people who are not able to conceive. It's not a big population. This does not say that there isn't a population, or there are, you know, so-called Black women that are not able to conceive a child. It's just not at large. You understand? So, you know, the thing about it is also, this might even be something people might put into the map if it does go this route, where they want to go ahead and do the artificial womb facility because, oh, I don't want to give the, you know, the pain of giving birth. I don't want to deal with that. Or because of the fact of the matter, there is so much malpractice in these hospitals. I don't want to give a child like that, you know? And my thing is, you know, I would honestly tell people, if you want to be able to have a childbirth naturally, get a doula. You know what I mean? Those are one of the sort of things that I believe in and which someone should do.
The facility features 75 highly equipped labs. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. A single building can incubate up to 30,000 lab-grown babies per year. Ectolife allows your baby to develop in an infection-free environment. The pods are made.
But that's the thing. What's the infection-free environment? Is it only because of the fact and matter that the mother may plague the fetus into having things like from the diet that's not actually really healthy for the baby? I mean, it's a lot of things that go into this. I mean, like I think what they're trying to basically say is, you know, in one way or another, because women can expose the fetus to all these unnatural things that the child may get into, or the fetus may get into its system based off what the mother is eating, drinking, and even to the worst degree, smoking.
Made of materials that prevent germs from sticking to their surfaces. Every growth pod features sensors that can monitor your baby's vital signs, including heartbeat, temperature, blood pressure, breathing rate, and oxygen saturation. The artificial intelligence-based system also monitors the physical features of your baby and reports any potential genetic abnormalities. The pods are equipped with a screen that displays real-time data on the developmental progress of your baby. These data are sent directly to your phone so you can track your baby's health from the comfort of your zone. The app also provides you with a high-resolution live view of your baby's development.
Now check this out, man. You see how they have everything is supposed to become automated as we move towards into 2023 or move towards 2030 or the 2030 agenda, in which a lot of the stuff is becoming technological. Now, think about how they weaponize technology on your child. A video that I did way back in which I have said that they're making it so that your child can be downloaded. You understand? In school, this is something they're doing in China. So imagine the same fact that the technology is going to be based even when a child is being developed in an unnatural way, as such as the artificial birth. You understand? So you don't have to worry about getting up every morning or having morning sickness and all these different things. And as a father, it's less stress on you because the way that a woman is when she's pregnant, you don't got to worry about that with this artificial womb and stuff like that. I mean, it's telling you a telltale sign of our world, you understand? In which using a cell phone, in which more than likely with these artificial wombs, the more that it advances, the more that they're going to institute electronics inside that baby so that that baby could be tracked anywhere, especially when they get to 18 and 19 years old. It's the thing, and y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, that is going to get to that point that you can download that baby's information because that stuff is inside the baby, not outside the baby being monitored inside that artificial womb.
Section in the app allows you to watch a time lapse of your baby's growth and share it directly with your loved ones. Because babies can recognize language and learn new words while still in the womb, Ectolife growth pods feature internal speakers that play a wide range of words and music to your baby. Through the app, you can choose the playlist that your baby listens to. You can also directly sing to your baby and make them familiar with your voice before birth. Our goal is to provide you with an intelligent offspring that truly reflects your smart choices.
And the VR headset, look out for that.
Ectolife improves your bonding experience with your baby. Thanks to a 360 degrees camera that's fitted inside your baby's growth pod, you can use your virtual reality headset to explore what it's like to be in your baby's place. See what they see and hear what they hear.
And that's something that they're also going to do with this technology beyond everything else. When I had talked about how the VR headsets are replacing socialization. So the thing about it is they try to give you this real perspective. Know what it's like to live in their shoes. Know what it's like to be in this world and stuff like that. We're disassociating fictional life, which is the VR, from real life, in my opinion.
Using a wireless haptic suit connected to your baby's growth pod, you will be able to sense their kicks in the womb and share this experience with your friends and family members.
So the thing about it is so now, because this is the thing, you get to deal with being pregnant but not being pregnant. So whenever you see how ridiculous this is. So a woman that does not want to, and this is going to, and I'm telling you, the population is going to get lazy. They're going to have those women out there that say, I want to have a child, but I do not want to deal with the fact of having a child. Okay, I don't want to actually be walking around with a big belly. I don't want to deal with, having to deal with all the complications and all the natural things that it comes with dealing with having a baby. So let me put on this harness suit and stuff like this, which looks like nothing more but a bulletproof vest and something like that, in which it's going to make a mockery of the kicks and all the screams and all these different things that a child would have. Well, not a scream, but the kicks that a mother would feel when, the fetus is doing what it's doing, moving around and, being comfortable with being in an incubator for 9 months.
With Ectolife, your baby will receive the best nutrients that can support their growth. Each group of pods is connected to 2 central bioreactors. The first bioreactor contains nutrients and oxygen, which are supplied to your baby through an artificial umbilical cord. This bioreactor also contains a liquid solution that serves as the amniotic fluid that surrounds babies in the mother's uterus. It's rich of vital hormones, growth factors, and antibodies that sustain your baby's growth and development.
And that's pretty much enough of that. You can continue watching the video. I'll put the link out for that video, but just to give you a heads up about how the future of the world is going, because, more of the artificial things that's connecting the world from real life is going to become the status quo of the next generation. And as I always tell people, the goal is to sit here and make people numb to it, more specifically Generation Z and Generation A. That's the whole entire point of what's going on. But I'm going to share with you just a little story time in which, I'm going to tell you exactly something else that, a lot of people may or may not notice, that we're going to take it back to history real quick. We're going to take it back to 1978, in which we're going to be talking about Louise Joy Brown, the first test tube baby born. Okay. So on July 25th, 1978, Louise Joy Brown, the world's first baby to be conceived via in vitro fertilization, is born in Oldham in District General Hospital in Manchester, England, to parents Leslie and Peter Brown. The healthy baby was delivered shortly before midnight by cesarean section and weighed at 5 pounds 12 ounces. Before giving birth to Louise, Leslie Brown had suffered years of infertility due to blocked fallopian tubes. In November 1977, she underwent the then experimental IVF procedure. A mature egg was removed from one of her ovaries and combined in a laboratory dish with her husband's sperm to form an embryo. The embryo then was implanted into her uterus a few days later. Her IVF doctors, British gynecologist Patrick Steptoe and scientist Robert Edwards, had begun their pioneering collaboration a decade earlier. Once the media learned of the pregnancy, the Browns faced intense public scrutiny, which I knew was going to happen. Louise's birth made headlines around the world and raised various legal and ethical questions. The Browns had a second daughter, Natalie, several years later, also through IVF. In May 1999, Natalie became the first IVF baby to give birth to a child of her own. The child's conception was natural, easing some concerns that female IVF babies would be unable to get pregnant naturally. In December 2006, Louise Brown, the original test tube baby, gave birth to a boy, Cameron John Melinder, who was also conceived naturally. Today, IVF is considered a mainstream medical treatment for infertility. Hundreds of thousands of children around the world have been conceived through the procedure, in some cases with donor eggs and sperm. And so my point is, people, I know that at the end of the day, you have a lot of technological procedures, technological advances. Like I said, this is something that's not new. I do believe that, when it comes to these artificial labs, I mean, it's always been there, but it might have been under wraps. And with that also being said, also talking about this, I mean, if anybody was paying attention, right? Doesn't it remind you of like a lot of these movies where they used to have like, humans inside of these like tanks, and like, with these tanks that used to have the water filtered around them, they be sleeped and knocked out and stuff like that, but still be conscious. I mean, it reminds me of Get Out, where, once the protagonist floated all the way down, he was able to see, the brains and all these different things of these people be inside these tubes. I mean, I know we're talking about a baby, but, I'm going to tell you this. A lot of these science fiction movies, because I know for sure that, there's a lot of movies that have something like this, and you'd be like, whoa, what is this? And, they label it as science fiction. But I always say science fiction is not science fiction. Science fiction is foreshadow. So now, as we move into 2023, we're going to have more of this stuff that's going to come out. And this is going to be the perfect haven for a lot of these feminists that feel as if like, I don't need no man for anything. Now it's true. I don't need nothing from you. I'm going to use my bone marrow to create an IVF baby. Or I might just go to the sperm bank and get my perfect sperm for this baby and then go into IVF and learn about my baby through this app. People will become technologically prone as we are now, and people will become technology. It will start off with the babies and the kids, and then it's going to move up to the adults. So otherwise than that, give me your thought process in the comment section. Otherwise than that, remember to like, subscribe. Peace.